Hey there, I just wanted to pop on here before we go any further with today's lesson to say two quick things. One, this lesson is designed for beginner drummers, so if you're a brand new drummer, this video is tailored for you. And if you're an intermediate or advanced player, most likely what's going to be covered in this video, as you may have already seen in the demonstrations, is kind of way below your skill level. Okay, the second thing I wanted to mention is for you beginner drummers. Before you go any further, I'd love you to hit pause in a second and go to the description below this video. There's two links there. The first one is the drum transcription for each groove that I demonstrated in today's video. Download it or print it out, use it to practice. That is the main thing. If you could take anything away from today, grab that PDF because it's designed to help you practice. More than anything you'll get in this video, having those grooves written down is a tremendous way to practice. And then the second thing for you younger drummers, your new drummers, there's a second link in there. So if you've never read rhythm or drumming notation before, I have a PDF down there specifically to help you learn how to read the drum charts. So you can grab that as well. Download it, print it out, whatever you want. But please, before you go any further, hit the pause button and grab those two links below. All right. Otherwise, let's keep going with the lesson. Hey. So you saw at the beginning of this video the demonstration of our new tom-tom grooves, and you probably recognize that they're similar but different from a recent lesson we did on tom-tom grooves. So they're similar in the sense of we're using the toms: small tom, medium tom, floor tom. If you only have one mounted tom, which a mounted tom is a small tom and a medium tom, if you only have one of those, that is totally fine. You don't need to. So that's the similarity, is we're using the toms. Within the grooves, we've got snare and kick as usual, but the big difference is we're using our floor tom for the whole groove, playing eighth notes. You could think of the floor tom with these grooves the same way you would think of your hi-hat typically, or your ride cymbal typically. You'll also notice that there's two sets of musical staff on your drum PDF. You don't read them separately, you actually read them together. The reason they're broken up like that is to just make it a little bit cleaner for our eyes and for our brain to understand. So the bottom musical staff, it just shows the floor tom notes, just shows those eighth notes being played in the floor tom. The top musical staff has kind of the more melodic element of the rhythm, meaning like you'll see your kick drum there, you'll see any snare drum notes there, and you'll see any small or medium tom notes there. But again, you read the two staffs like at the same time. It's easy because the bottom staff is just eighth notes in your floor tom. So it's like, put that on autopilot and then read the top staff. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, drop a comment below. I'll happy to chat with you there. Now, genres. I always like to reference genres. So far, the majority of our grooves in this beginner series kind of center around the same genres: rock, pop, dance, disco, R&B, funk, maybe occasionally like a specific subgenre of blues, but although blues can have a lot more difference in rhythm than what we've covered so far. Today though, I would say this kind of style can certainly be in like a lot of different types of rock music, but also in a lot of different types of like R&B, soul, funk, and occasionally like I could see us having to play like a pop tune with one of like a groove like this. Just like in our tom-tom part 1, these grooves, part 2, these are just examples, just ideas. These are not the end-all be-all of grooves. That should go without saying, but if you're brand new, why would you wouldn't know that. So yeah, these are just little tastes. We're just getting familiarizing ourselves with the language of drumming. And in this case, we're familiarizing ourselves with just the idea and some concepts of adding the toms within a backbeat-esque groove. And so that's what you did in part 1, and that's what you're doing here today. Now, always, I know I sound like a broken record, but maybe there's somebody new here watching that hasn't seen any of my videos here on the DrumShed. And so if you're watching and you're brand new, hello. If you're going to practice this, I encourage you to first freestyle it, meaning don't plug it in with a metronome, whether it's an old metronome like this or a metronome you may have, a metronome app you may have. First, piece it together without a metronome. Go note by note, and just get comfortable with the orchestration, the flow, meaning like the physicality of it. Get comfortable with the physicality of it. Once you can play each of these grooves from today 4 to 8 times in a row, meaning like you play the one groove and you loop it either 4 times for 4, meaning 4 measures, or maybe you loop it for 5, 6, 7, or 8. Once you can do any of that, then I would say plug it into the old metronome, start at a tempo that's comfortable for you. So let's say you started at 60 beats per minute. Practice for a while at 60. Once you can do that for 4 to 8 times, increase by 3 BPMs. Using small increments to increase the tempo kind of helps trick our brain and our ears into playing faster. We typically will notice when it's like 10 BPM jumps or higher. And that, in my experience, that was when I started to kind of feel the speed increase, and I would say things to myself like, oh, I would have thoughts like, oh, that seems fast. I don't know if I can do this. Once you start to have those thoughts, you're probably not going to be able to do it in that practice session. And so I had an amazing teacher who talked about, increase in small steps, and within one practice session, you'll be surprised how many times you can increase by 3. And so the speed comes quicker because like it's hard for our ears, especially when we're a new drummer, to hear like the difference between say 60 BPM and 63, or 86 and 89. That's it. Floor tom beats. We'll be doing more with tom grooves in the future in this series, but that's going to be it for now. I've got some upcoming lessons planned that are slightly different. So get comfortable with part 2, this video, and also with part 1. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment below. If you enjoyed this video, you might consider doing all the YouTube-y things. I would be so grateful. What are the YouTube-y things? You know the drill. Like, subscribe, notification bell, share it with other aspiring drummers like yourself. All of that helps the DrumShed reach new drummers, and there's a lot of drummers out there or a lot of students out there, or a lot of just people interested in the drums who maybe don't have the means of taking private lessons or paying for online drumming courses. And your YouTube engagement helps these lessons reach those people, and that's what my inspiration is for doing these lessons. So anyway, thank you for your support, and I hope you have a very blessed day.